Welcome to the next training session of SAP HCM module. In the last training session, we have completed the general ledger configuration or the customization steps. In today's topic or today's training, we will be continuing with the general ledger accounting, and in today we will be doing the unit testing for the same. As a part of unit testing, we'll be covering the above steps or the transactions as on the screen. First is to create the GL master. The transaction code for the same is FS00. Then posting GL master document, display documents, change documents, then GL balance display, that is the ledger balance display actually, then the GL line item display, that is the document display. There is a different report for a ledger balance detailed ledger detailed document wise display. The transaction code is along with it, FBL3N, or there is a second transaction FAGLL03. The next is reverse a document. So once a document is posted, maybe due to certain problem or certain clerical error or any other kind of problems, the document need to be reversed, so that can be reversed with the transaction FB08. And then we'll be looking after a few of the reports which is needed on a day-to-day basis. So moving on to the first transaction, that is to create the GL master. As on the screen, you can see that the path and the transaction code has been displayed to you. So for executing the day-to-day transactions, mostly what we use is the transaction code. However, as a consultant, you should know the path, but otherwise you can also use the transaction code. So we will be using the transaction code for executing each of these different transactions ahead in today's part. So moving up with the GL master, which refers to the general ledger master data. So if we go on to the SAP screen, how we can create the general ledger master data, the transaction code for that is FS00. Enter. So that is what you can see over here. But now to create a GL, you should know what GL number you want to be created. If we go back to the customization steps, we have created the account group. The account group refers to the GL or the ledger account group, and those groups, on the basis of that, the ledger account has to be created. Let's revisit that account group so as to give you more clarity. OBD4, enter. So now if you go and cross check over here, you will find that the chart of account is 1000, and there are different groups within the chart of account, if you can see over here, and each of these have got different number range among themselves. So if you want to create a fixed asset ledger account, you need to create that particular ledger with the number assigned over here in from and to account, that is 1000000 to 100490. so if for a fixed asset ledger account, we need to go within this particular range, and we have to ensure that within this range, that particular number should not be already created. If it is already there in the system with this number for this particular company code, it will not allow you to create it again. So duplicacy is not allowed. Similarly, if you go down, for accumulated depreciation, there is a different group. For work in progress assets, there is a different group. Inventory, again there is a different group. For sundry debtors, there is a different group again. And if you see the same way, the series which is coming up with 1 relates to your assets, if you carefully look after it. But the series which is starting with the number as 2 belongs to your liabilities. However, the liabilities have been broken down into different groups. Like the liability share capital has been given a different number range, as you can see over here. Similarly, the reserve and surplus has been given a different number range. The secured loan, unsecured loans, sundry creditors, provisions, then loans and advances. Similarly, so these all different ranges have been given so that it become easy to understand things, and the groupings can be easily done so that to have a easy mapping of financial statements as well at a later stage. So if you go down further, you will find that for the first two, the series is starting with 1 and the 2 belongs to your balance sheet ledger accounts. But if you go down further, now you will find that for the income statement. So for the income statement, for the revenue sides or the income, the 3 series which is starting refers to your sales, or you can say the revenue part. So the sales GL range has been kept separate, whereas sales return again is a separate. And apart from your normal revenues, that is normal sales, if there is any other incomes, that has to be taken up in a separate group, that is 300, 3002, 300490. So any other source of income like like interest received, rent received, or gain from sale of assets, or anything like such will be taken up in the other income part. So again, the number range starting with 3 refers to your revenue ledger numbers, whereas the number range starting with 4 after that refers to the expenses ledger numbers. So that is over here: inventory management, conversion charges, salary and wages. So you can further divide it to down the layers depending upon your requirement. Or you could have taken up the simple one. If you remember, what we did was we took the asset as a one group, liability as a second group, expenses as a third group, and revenue as a fourth group. That's it, simple. So that's a more simple concept which I took so as to make you understand. But to give you a practical understanding in a normal practical scenarios, what we do is we break down those groups further as per the requirement in the business. So that is why the assets has been broken down into different asset parts like fixed assets, then inventory, investment, sundry debtors, cash and bank, and all. Similarly, the liability side has been broken up into share capital, reserve and surplus, secured loan, unsecured loans, then sundry creditors, provisions, and all. So similarly, you can break down your revenues, your expenses as per the convenience or the requirement of the business, and the grouping can be assigned to that. So once that particular grouping has been taken up, one need to take care that whatever the ledger accounts you create it within that particular group number. If you take a wrong group number, all your mapping, all your financials and income statements may go wrong. So that is the care has to be taken. So now if you go for the company code which we are using 1200, as of now we have not created any general ledger master data. So what we will be doing is we'll be creating certain fixed asset ledger now, and the fixed asset ledger number is 1 and 5 times 0. So let's see, check in a new screen over here in a new session, and let us see whether is there any number or not. So let's start with the first one, the fixed asset part. So within the fixed assets there could be number of different fixed assets, like there could be land, building, furniture and fixtures, there could be plant and machinery, there could be many furniture inventories, finished goods, or there could be softwares or hardwares, there could be vehicles. So a lot of different fixed assets could be there which can be taken up. So suppose I take the first number which is over here, that is the first one I would be creating 1 5 times 0. And if you enter on the screen after this, you will find a message. you can see the message now that it says that the account 100000 does not exist in the company code 1200. So as of now, this ledger account has not been created. That is what we are doing. We need to create the ledger account. So to create the ledger account, the first of all thing you need to do is you need to assign the GL account number, which number you want to create. So that is what we took it from the range from over here, from the account group. And then you need to take the company code, that is 1200. And now to create, you need to go to this option over here, the third option. The first one is for display, the second one is for change, and the third one is to create. So you need to click on to create. So as you click on to create, now you will find certain options now. So if you go over here, you need to select your account group. So the account group over here you can check, that is fixed assets. So out of the whole list, you need to select your account group, that is fixed assets. Then you need to select the profit and loss account, statement account, or balance sheet account. So whatever the ledger account you are creating, with the basis of your account group, you can decide whether that is a part of your income statement or the balance sheet account. So I would be selecting the balance sheet. Now moving to the next is the short text and the long text. So this short text and long text refers to the description of the ledger account. So suppose the first thing which I would be creating is land.